Hey guys, so I'm going to continue with my third-party lens reviews for the GFX, for the Fuji GFX system. This is the TTArtisan 90 f1.25. So this is like an extremely, wide open bokeh master lens. Pretty heavy, definitely major glass. So I'm going to start out with a couple of physical things about this lens. So first of all, obviously you can see that's a major piece of glass right there. It's pretty hefty. So this is what it comes with. So this is the lens. It comes in this box. It's very Leica inspired, the design and everything. Obviously the font on the lens as well. The lens comes with this metal lens cap, which is actually screwed into the sunshade, which then goes on here, which would be great. But problem is that this somehow cut its own thread, I believe, so it was really hard to get that off. So it's kind of, you have to unscrew this and then to put this on here, unless you don't use the sunshade at all, which I guess is an option. So once you have the sunshade on, great, wonderful, but this is a completely off measurement, so you can't really get a click-on thing for it. So I got one of these, so I'm using this. It's not ideal, not my favorite, but it works. So that's that. The other aspects, obviously, this is these f-stops have clicks in them. Goes from 1.25, 1.4 to all the way to 16. Obviously, this lens is made to be used wide open. I'll go into, I'll show you guys some pictures and everything. It has pretty close focusing, which is nice. Very smooth, works really well. Unlike others, these rear caps actually fit pretty well. And when I say others, the lens that pretty much compares to it is the 75 Asteriori, which I did a review on. They look really similar. For whatever reason, this rear, the lens cap just flops around on it. Yeah, like they should have done something like this. Just an easy on-off instead of this. But what are you going to do? So this is the obvious comparison in terms of size. Let me put this back on. So you can see the size. So this is 75. F4, it goes up to, it opens up to 2.5 or something. And this is a 90 1.25. So obviously different f-stops. You can see the front elements, very different. Weight is just about the same, I would say. Maybe size, very similar. To see it on the GFX, let me grab this real quick here. This is the Asteriori, the 40mm, which is one of my go-to lenses. It's pretty much always on my camera. And this goes on. Yeah, it's a good size, good weight, well balanced. Manual focus works well again. The finder in the GFX really helps with manual focusing. Yeah, it's a good looking lens, works well. So far so good. I will show you guys some pictures And like I said, the only real drawback that I found so far, and it kind of bugs me because it's so unnecessary, is this weird screw-in lens protector, which would be so much better if it just had this. Just put that on there, you know? So I guess you can't have everything. Okay, so these are some of the files that I shot with the 90. I got the 90 specifically for this one editorial that I shot. I wanted to get that like old time feel with that compressed depth of field and not really perfect lenses. Um, I had the 75 Astro Hori. I didn't think it would give me enough of that separation and enough of that depth. Um, so that one was perfect. The 90 was perfect, wide open. This is exactly the kind of thing that I was going for. You can see that, you know, we're losing that focus already on the upper eyelash. Obviously, these are retouched, but you can see, you know, the ears. It's just the fall off is just fantastic. Um, there's a little bit of glow in there. Everything really that I would want that lens to do and to show. I mean, it's obviously difficult to say exactly what f-stop I used for each of these shots because there's no information passed on to the camera. I'm pretty sure I closed this down a little bit. This might be f4 or something. You can see fall off is still great. Depth runs straight through here. At that distance, shooting 1.25 or whatever wide open this lens, it's really difficult to get focus, even with the GFX with the new finder. It's it's very it's not easy. You can see the vignetting a little bit here, and once you zoom in, it's sharp, it's in focus, it's yeah, it's everything's right there, and fall off looks beautiful. The focus areas there. Um, so yeah, that is pretty much exactly what I wanted from that lens. These are more the type of shots that I would probably use it for. Again, this is you know the fall off. What I really like about this shot is the way the lens draws this hair. It's dreamy, but it's I mean that's it's actually difficult to replicate that in post because it's just you know it's focused there. Um, Great focus on the eyes. Lose a little bit of lashes already. You get that funkiness going on over here on that one hair. Um, that's exactly what I want that lens to do. Here's another example of you know that's shot it wide open, and I remember focusing this shot in particular because I used like old film technique and of focusing setting the not really focusing on the lens itself but on the camera and then just doing that dance of kind of leaning in and you know obviously the subject moves so you kind of do that dance of moving closer and focusing that way and that obviously is extremely shallow depth of field. I mean you can see the fall off here to just to the other eyes and onto the nose. I really like that glow that's going on here without really losing any of the detail in here. You know, this is just beautiful to me, these areas here. Does the, you know, gives the fabric the texture that it needs, you know, because this is supposed to be about clothes. um, so anyway, these are, you know, these are the shots from the editorial. These are some of the shots that I did before just to check it out. I went to the beach with my daughter there. So this is where you can see this is this is wide open. So it's 1 point whatever 225 or something. Um, and you can see that you know what the lens does, especially in this extreme situation where you have you know the glare coming off the ocean and it's extremely hard to focus this.
and you can see what it does. You can see the see, and you can see how that bleeds into the skin there. Um, yeah, I mean, this is lots of character, I would say. Um, this is kind of a, I would say this is kind of a classic shot that you would do with this lens. It's a little bit closed down. I know that. Why do I know that? Because it's vignetting a little bit. Um, the lens holds up all the information, and I'll show you this because this is, you get still great out of focus areas, and but this is processing image at 200%. I mean, this is the detail in this. And if you go over here, I mean, that's kind of what you want from that lens. Backlit, these are difficult situations, and that's exactly what that lens is made for, in my opinion. Did a stress test there. I'm pretty sure I closed down a little bit just to give it a chance, because that's obviously pure chromatic aberrations if you just shoot in there. Did really well. Um, the lens does, I noticed that because again, there's no information from the lens coming to the camera. This is just a landscape shot. Just wanted to see. Uh, Handled it really well, I thought. There's some detail. There's some birds out there that I don't think I even saw. Um, Handled it really well. Colors great. Obviously, this is, there's some post on 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 this, but I did notice when I shot, especially on these shots, I shot aperture priority, kind of played around, closed down, see what would happen. Yeah, I closed down all the way to f8 or something, but that's not something I would do with this lens because I can get a different lens for that if I wanted to do that. I did notice that the camera had a hard time keeping up with the metering and the color, so there were a little bit of color shifts. And the metering was a little bit off in between the files when you shoot fast. Again, there's no communication with the lens, so that's just in this situation, I would set the camera to manual and shoot, see what I want the exposure to be in, see how much of these backlit highlights or I want blown out, and then shoot that way. And obviously, then that's not an issue at all. So yeah, it's a great lens. It's similar to the Astro Hori 75 in a way that it's, classic older style design lens that has character, and that performs really well once you just stop it down a little bit. Um, and even when you stop it down to, like, let's say f4 2.8, it still has a little bit of character. So it's not just like a clinical lens, like the Fuji lenses, which are great. They're fantastic lenses, but they're clinical lenses. Um, these lenses are, it's a difficult thing to say because they have an interesting look without being too clinical. They're still sharp, they're still detailed, they're still, character, um, but they're not just as like completely clean, I guess I would say clinical. So I hope you guys enjoyed this. I will be doing a macro test on this lens as well with a couple of extension tubes, because I got some more extension tubes, smaller ones, and I'll probably throw a couple of lenses in there as well. So check in for that. And yeah, I hope you guys can find this interesting, and check in for more. Thanks.